This is my project 2 presentation, and I wrote the project 2 two journal papers, and that topic was basic on the project 1, but more in deeply. And the name of the topic is How Chinese Tea Conquered the World as a Cultural Identity. As we know, tea is an icon of globalization. The effect of the worldwide consumption of tea is vivid and wild. Tea is across multiple cultures over the thousands of years, and China was the only country where tea was cultivated for export at Shang Dynasty. And tea is not just a drink, it's a spirit to represent the soul and the cultural identity. And it as a national identity for common people. I wrote the paper that will explain by the visual culture surrounding the tea from Eastern to Western. To show visual spectacles of the globalization of the tea literature movement and how it transferred in different contexts of different countries. Also, the paper will explain a range of historical devices from before until now that used to shape the culture and the national identity from painting, packaging, landscape, whatever the design form it is. And they've both to show how this design works at that time, echo the society's fluctuation between traditional and modernity, and nationalism and internationalism, past and future. The essay was based on two keywords. That one is a timeline, two is design works, whatever the advertisement publication things. As we know, China is the only country to export the tea from many years ago, and I've just wrote the first publications about the how to boil the tea from the Lu Yu's, the classic of tea in Song Dynasty, and how the graphic things and calligraphy to transferring to Japan to involve them to do the Japanese style landscapes and some tea houses or tea sport. After that, I wrote the how Chinese tea conquered the Europe, and by giving some visual examples like the first advertisement in United Kingdom and how they used the symbolic aids conveying to people the diverse nationality and cultural backgrounds. And also I wrote the oil painting from the 1920s in United Kingdom, because the pretty oil painting always drawing the high classic people with the tea set and the elegant tea set in silver of fine bone china. Cake stands were the height of the fashion, and the high tea was not as tea as at all. It became a special occasion, become a social identity for high classics, even to royal. And so I wrote the analyzed the oil paintings about the how the tea transfer to United Kingdom to become a social identity. And the Chinese tea has huge demands in not only Britain but also the United States and other Western countries. There was lots of tea house opened in Paris about 1715, and some of them still open at present. The tea house Fosho was established in 1886. The name of Fosho was a person who recognized as one of the world leading, and it comes at the introduction of the 5 o'clock tea, which is a lifestyle for people staying tea house with friends and enjoying the afternoon tea at 5 o'clock. It's really similar with the Chinese literature gathering, because they've also just by drinking a tea in the same place that is a tea house to get information from the peoples and enjoying their leisure times with others. Also, the Chinese tea conquered Germany by using the traditional and classical ceramic things to make the tea set. Also, the Germans had produced the porcelain by themselves that was based on the ceramics. The tea transferred to Germany. It was really helpful for the industrial at that time, because Germans were so smart. They just developed the porcelain by themselves, and they created the new one from themselves. And the real reason about adding milk in tea and why this traditional started in the West, it has been suggested that milk was added to tea to prevent the cracking delicate porcelain cups, and sugar was also added for the same reason as well. So after that, by adding the tea and sugar into the tea, it becomes the new way and the new lifestyles for Western people at that time. Later on, in American, tea became a form to represent the soul and a cultural identity. It is removing symbols of its past in order to move forward with its new identity, because before the tea as a hated symbols in American because of the big events that called the Boston Tea Party. All of the American and colonists at that time, they were refused to pay the high tax for the tea imported from England. And I've just wrote the little bit events, but the more things is about the visual communications. At that time, there were some paintings and some posters with pursued or to let the people knows it was a revolution things. And I believe the tea became the symbol of the revolutionary action with its new identity at that time in American. However, it's not until after the revolution from American tea consumption revived. By looking and analyzed the oil painting from the famous painter Maria Cassatt, the tea was not monopoly anymore. It became the normal drinks for all social classes, and people could drink a cup of tea affordable to take afternoon tea spread in the tea rooms or home, especially women. As we can see, the paintings from Maria Cassatt was a good example for expressed the popular social ritual. And I think the tea was not only as a symbol of revolutions, but also as a symbol of an equal and freedom for women at that time. No longer after 1908, the easy-to-use tea bags revolutionized the tea industry in New York. As we can see, at our contemporary lives, daily life, we can see lots of tea bags around us. The very famous brand Lipton Teas in USA also evolved from China, because the first tea bag was made from the person Thomas, and he just made that one by using the traditional material silk and the Chinese teas to make the tea bag, and he replaced it by gauzy because the material from the China at that time, it's very expensive. And later on, the eco-friendly and convenient tea bag become the modern and fashion designs, and also to people, and also it is a convenient lifestyle for people, because you can just put the tea bags in few minutes in the tea and in the hot water, and by just throw it and you can drink the fresh teas. In addition, tea in China from its early uses in ancient dynasties, from the boiled tea in the Tang Dynasty to powdered tea during the Song, from Eastern to Western, deepened the appreciation for modern day. Tea in Western country was changed, but still based on Chinese sagacity as well. Whatever add sugar, cream, or milk things. And I believe tea was just not as a globalization symbol at this stage of the lifestyle things. They've also showed into the design strategy, whatever the form it is, like the typography, calligraphic, landscape, and advertisement. The tea from the China as a cultural identity was successful transferred to all over the world. They all are representing aesthetic thriving system and unique sense in Chinese cultural landscapes, with the removal of trading boundaries. I think it just transferred the spirit and social identity in a universal way that is understood in all language backgrounds, and it's removing symbols of its past in order to move forward with its new identity that successfully convey lifestyles in social. Whatever the tea gonna develops, In this context, tea should be understood as a design product with an unmistakable, charming, beautiful, while at the same, it's a China's most successful contributions to the world global culture when the first cup of tea was infused many years ago. I think you want to know more about the teas. Just read through my journal paper. It will show you how a graph how tea conquered the world as a culture identity in the detail. Thank you for listening.